benefits of it, and I'll touch on some of those things that he brought up that would naturally be something for me to talk about. Well, this is a great crowd. There's got to be 75 people here. That's a lot of folk, and I'm glad you're interested in this subject. I know you've got other things to talk about tonight as well, and so I think I'll talk here for a while. I'll leave some time for Q&A, and then you're going to need some time. So this is what we've got. Some of you I've met before at meetings in Muskegon or in the community, like Michelle, who I've known for a while around town. I live in Grand Haven. I've been in West Michigan for the last 20 years. And raised a couple kids here. And as was discussed earlier, I've worked on various technologies with Consumers Energy. I started with the company working in nuclear operations at the nuclear plant, the Palisades plant, and then I started working in coal-fired issues, hydro issues, wind issues, all kinds of stuff. And so tonight, if you've got questions about anything related to electric generation technology or other aspects of the company, I'll do my best to try to answer those questions as well. So, what we're doing and why, and what we feel those benefits are. Let me get into that. So this is a smart meter. This is a GE meter, and it goes on the house, and we are going to replace our current meters that are analog meters on houses for a few reasons. We started in Muskegon, and we're rolling through Ottawa County, and we'll be getting into Allegan County here over the next few months. The number one reason why we are replacing our old meter technology is because we don't know that a person is out of power when the tree falls on the electric line unless they pick up the telephone and they call us. There's got to be a better way to provide customer service. And this is that technology for us to do that. In the future, these will contact us when the electricity is out. That's great for folks who live in rural areas who aren't home all year, folks who own houses that have sump pumps and don't want to come home and find that their basement is flooded. Lots of reasons why it's better for us to know that a person is out of power before they come home, find a cold house, pick up the telephone and call us. We're able to then send out our repair crews much more efficiently. They'll be able to go to the homes where the outages are and know how big those outages are. For instance, if a person lived in a subdivision or lives in Spring Lake and they contact us and say, I'm out of power because I'm the only person on my block or in my subdivision of 40 or 50 houses, and I'm home at 10 o'clock in the morning, and I know that we're out while everybody else is off at school or at work or off shopping, I'll call you and say that I'm out of power, and Consumers Energy would send out one crew to repair that service. In the future, we'll know 40 houses or 400 houses are out. So right now, if you've got a smart meter, keep calling us because all of those systems are not yet up and running. We don't have the full capability to be notified. Our outage management system is not fully up and running. So if you've got a smart meter on your house already and you have a power outage, call us, 800-477-5050. Call us on that number until we've got the systems up and running. Similarly, even if you've got a smart meter on your home, we're still sending out our meter readers because, again, there's a lot of technology that has to go into making all of our systems operable. So we're still reading those meters, making sure that they're accurate, making sure that they're doing their job. So keep calling us until we tell you otherwise. So as I mentioned, number one reason, outage management systems. The number two reason is billing. Right now, when we bill a customer, we have to send out an individual to read the meter. They look at that information. They then download that information, and we use that to make the bill. We can have that meter read electronically, as I talked about before, for those of you who are in Muskegon and other places. And that information is provided to us electronically, will be provided to us electronically instead of having it physically read. Once a day for just a few seconds, probably between midnight and say 2 o'clock in the morning. The meter will send us what is essentially a text message, as many of you have heard. That information will be encrypted, it will be encoded, it will say nothing about the individual homeowner, just the aggregate electric use. We can't tell from that electronic read what devices are using electricity. We can't tell if you're growing tomatoes in your basement or not. We'll just take that information, we'll use that to make the bill. We'll take that information then also and we'll put it on a secure website. In the future, you'll have access to your own secure website, your own password and so forth. Go online, look at what your energy use is. You can look at how your energy use may have changed on any given day. Over a period of time, you'll be able to look back a day, a week, a month, a year, and you'll be able to compare what your energy use is currently to what it was in the past. And you're the only one who will be able to know. Let me see, at 2 o'clock on Friday, 2 weeks ago, I plugged in my hot tub and I started heating it. What did that do to my bill? You'll be able to make a pie graph, a bar chart. You'll be able to project out, if I heat up my hot tub for 6 months, what will it do? But you're the only one that knows it's a hot tub, or a pool, or whatever else you've got out there. We won't be able to tell how you do that. So billing, outage management system, and then accurate billing too. You know, in those months that we wouldn't send out a meter reader, we would estimate the bills. Some folks liked that, some folks didn't like that so much, and so we basically get rid of the necessity for estimating the bills. Those are the big three. Let's see what else I overlooked here. Outage response, aggregate consumption, encrypted data, told you about that. All right, so let me get into some of the programs that these meters will enable. One of them would be air conditioning cycling. And when other folks have spoken, they've said, well, somehow the utility company is going to be able to control our electric consumption or somehow ration our electricity. Let me talk for a moment about the crumb of information that gets baked into something that really isn't accurate. For those customers who choose in the future to enroll in our air conditioning cycling program, they will pay a lower rate all year than everybody else. They'll pay a lower rate for electricity all year for all the electricity that they use. In exchange for consumers' energy, just like many utilities already do across the country, having the authority, the ability to cycle their air conditioning load during hot summer days. And the reason that's important, especially in Michigan, the peninsula we love, it's a great place, it's surrounded by water, we love that, except it's tough to get a lot of goods here, including electricity. There are only 3 places to bring electricity into this state. And on any given day, in the summertime, on any hot day, we're 25% short of the electricity we need to provide reliable service to our customers. And so on hot days in the summertime, we go out in the marketplace and we purchase electricity. We get a lot of it from Canada, we get it from as far away as Saskatchewan, we can get it to, we can get it from West Virginia. We get electricity from all over this region. And we buy that electricity at higher prices. We pay a premium for that electricity because we never know exactly how much electricity we're going to need. It depends on demand. We've got contracts in place to give us access to electricity. We've got some contracts that are provided at price, but sometimes, frequently, we have to go into the marketplace and pay market prices. Now, so let me talk about the electric market for just a moment. And I'll just say $50 is the per megawatt price of electricity that we purchase it for on the market. How that converts to your home use, that's 5 cents a kilowatt hour. So we'll say the part of your bill is 11 cents a kilowatt hour. The part of your bill that's just fuel and power plants, that's about 5 cents. So we may be able to produce it for 5 cents a kilowatt hour, $50 a megawatt hour, just move the zero over. So we may have to go into the marketplace and purchase that electricity for $80 a megawatt hour, 8 cents a kilowatt hour, $100 a megawatt hour, whatever it is. So let me get back to air conditioning cycling. So when demand goes up like this, it starts getting expensive, we have to go into the market, purchase electricity to meet that demand. If we could cut down that hump a little bit, I need a whiteboard. Yeah, I got one. All right. This is great. This is great. So here's your cost of electricity, which is 5 cents per kilowatt hour for production. And demand goes up. We have to go out here and purchase electricity at, say, 10 cents. And that's before we add the cost of linemen and me. If we can shave this off, then we have to go into the market and purchase less electricity, which saves you money. And we can get into the utility economics of it too. So what we're doing is we're giving the opportunity to our customers to essentially buy electricity at a lower cost all year long for the opportunity to go up here on hot summer days and avoid having to go into the market to purchase those if, and only if, they enroll in the air conditioning cycling program. That means that the customer chooses to put a device on their central air conditioner so that it can communicate with the meter. So the meter can send it a signal, and it can cycle the air conditioning. And you would say, that doesn't make sense. It's going to be hot. Who would want their air conditioning cycled on those hot days? Well, it may be for only 20 minutes or 30 minutes at a time. So what we know as a utility company is for that 20 or 30 minutes, 1,000 customers or whatever number of customers it is will not have their air conditioners go on and use this amount of electricity, which means that we can use it to meet peak demand for other customers. And then after 20 or 30 minutes, when their air conditioners go on, we know that another block of power of other customers who are enrolled in that program won't have their air conditioners click on, so we'll be able to use that block of power elsewhere, and on it goes. It's just managing supply and demand of electricity. We do it all the time. There are better ways to do it in the future, and this device is going to help us to do that. So that's air conditioning cycling program. Another program that is alluded to, a dynamic pricing program, where the market cost of electricity changes day by day. Every day, we're out in the market, and we purchase, some electricity. I don't know how to make this graph. We'll just say that over a period of a month, the price of electricity may go like this, and we have our power plants operating like that. So there's going to be some peaks, some opportunities for us to sell in the market. Sometimes we'll buy in the market. Once in a while we'll sell in the market, kind of like that. And those peaks and valleys you already pay for every day. You pay for it every day. It's averaged out in your bills. The Michigan Public Service Commission looks at us and says, okay, how much did it cost you to make electricity? How many customers do you have? How many kilowatts are they going to purchase over the period of a year? We're going to divide all that and make a per kilowatt hour price for your electricity, and that's how much you're going to sell your electricity for to all of your customers. So you're already paying for that. Let me stop here for just a moment. A lot of folks think of Consumers Energy as a monopoly because you look at one side of the equation, which is fine. You don't have a choice. Consumers Energy is your electric supplier, and that's it. The other side of the equation is Consumers Energy has an obligation to serve. By law, we are obligated to serve everybody in our service territory. We don't get to choose who our customers are. So if Home Depot comes in and builds a big store, and they put it in the basement, they put up the walls, they start filling it with goods and so forth, and then they come to Consumers Energy and say, okay, we're ready to be hooked up so that we can start selling our goods in the store. We can't stand back and say, you know what, everybody else pays 11 cents a kilowatt hour, but not you. We've got you over barrel. You're going to pay 20. Michigan Public Service Commission won't allow us to do that. They set our rates. We have an obligation to serve. The Michigan Public Service Commission determines what our costs are, and then they reflect those costs in our rates. And on the sale of electricity, we can't make a profit. We make our profits based on the infrastructure and the payback on the infrastructure that we invest in to make the electricity. So when we save a buck, like we do every night with the Ludington Pump Storage Plant, and I can get into that a little bit later, that buck that we save goes right to the shareholder. Goes right to our customer. Shareholders are paid from another account. That has to do with all of the capital investment that we invest in, which is, again, that's utility economics. That may be another presentation. Okay, so that gets me back to dynamic pricing program, which is what I started to talk about. Dynamic pricing program. So some people, they may want to elect, they may want to enroll in a program, and only if they enroll in the program can they shop for their electric price. They may want to enroll in the dynamic pricing program whereby on a daily basis, through their self-install, if they choose to do it, smart thermostat, or through email in the future as well, they could be notified that the price of electricity is going to change, and they may want to avoid purchasing electricity at this price, so that if they've got discretionary loads such as dishwashers, clothes washers, clothes dryers, all that kind of stuff, they may choose to, instead of running those at this time of the day between 2 o'clock in the afternoon and 7, I just realized I'm being filmed. Between 2 and 7, they may want to do their laundry and stuff after 7 o'clock. I'm sorry that I'm walking around so much. I hope I'm not making your job too difficult. Jeez, I didn't realize it.
It's pretty hard to do. Make my job difficult.
Need a boom crane to follow me around. I walk around a lot. Sorry about that. So that's the dynamic pricing program. And so somebody would say, you know what, I want to engage in this process. I've got the time, I've got the inclination. I'm going to try to avoid these peaks and buy electricity when it goes on sale. When there's a sale on electricity, that's when I want to buy more of it. So that's the dynamic pricing program. It's something somebody likes to do. They enroll in it. They want to do it. Same with our air conditioning cycling program. Okay. Let's see what else. I guess, I mean, those are the primary points. I'm probably forgetting a few. Oh, let me go by what I've got here. I've got in the back a whole bunch of brochures, smart meter brochures, smart energy brochures. They cover what we're doing and why we're doing it. And when the speaker was here before, he talked about some of the myths associated with it, and some issues that some folks don't feel are myths associated with, sorry, keep looking at Michelle, I just happen to know some folks in the audience. You know, some folks like hypersensitive to electricity, or feel that you know, radio frequency is something they want to avoid, all that kind of stuff. We put that right in our brochure. Some of those issues, and then we address them through our technology. We're installing technology that is tried and true. Of the 315 million people that reside in the United States, 45 million of them already have smart meters. We feel that these have customer value. They provide a value to our customers that is going to be really well appreciated by providing various programs that are going to help people save money over time through these programs and other programs. So we believe in the technology. We're not part, as I mentioned, you know, we don't have the capability to look into anybody's personal life with these devices. We're not part of any program that's government or otherwise. We're a utility company, been in business for 126 years, been around since the late 1800s, providing electricity to the rural areas of the state of Michigan as well as the cities over time. And so we're a pretty well-known commodity. We're using these devices to provide, again, more service to our customers in the future and to elevate our level of customer service. Yeah, it looks like you're about ready to get up. Did you want to ask a question?
Well, I was going to give you the opportunity for me to be your shield as we turn to the Q&A.
Oh, no, I see one back there. You don't need to be a shield. That's all right. Yes, sir, you've got a question.
The dynamic pricing, you have to enroll in that, or you just like do your laundry late at night and you
No.
get a benefit?
No, you'd have to enroll in that, the dynamic pricing program, because then you'd be notified. That's the program as I know it today. What other programs there may be in the future, I'm uncertain. Those are the programs that I know of. I don't know if we could make it any easier for folks in the future, but that's the way that I know the programs to exist today.
So if you just do your stuff at a time that might be cheaper, you get no benefit.
You
but
know,
you're actually
that's
enrolled.
correct. That's correct. For today, you're going to pay the same amount for your electricity all year. Now, those of you who use more than 1,000 kilowatts a month and so forth, then those folks at a certain point end up paying more for their electricity per kilowatt hour. But time of day use, not for residential customers. Our commercial customers, we do have programs for them that are closer to what you've described. Other questions?
You're saying consumers energy is going to have a time of use at all then?
There will be time of use metering programs in the
What would be
future.
the price of peak metering at that time?
I'm
What
sorry?
would be the electric rate for peak?
This gentleman is a retiree of Consumers Energy, and I'm not sure I understand your question.
At peak rate, if you don't sign up for this dynamic, you're going to be paying top price.
Not at that particular time. The way that our rates are, right now, you pay the same amount across the whole year.
So if you have a smart meter and you're not hooked up to dynamic,
You're not going to be able to shop for your for good deals unless you're part of the dynamic
if I
pricing
keep
program.
my electromagnetic meter, I'm at the same rate as the guy with a smart meter that doesn't sign up.
That's correct. You got it.
How about the future?
Yes, sir.
What about
Question? Oh, there you go. What about the future? I believe in it. I believe there should be one. What do you mean?
What about the future with the pricing?
What do you mean? Do you mean will the price of electricity go up?
With the government get involved, will they be lowering the prices for people with smart meters across the board?
No. Other questions? Yes, sir.
You were mentioning
consumers buy 25% of their energy.
Yeah, it depends on the day, depends on the season and so forth, yeah.
But how much of that is Canadian hydroelectric?
I can't, I don't know. I don't know how much. On any particular day, it may be a lot or not too much, depends on what's available in the marketplace.
But
Jim?
and it's a lot cheaper though, too, isn't it?
It can be, but peak prices are peak prices. If there's demand, let me answer Jim's question, because it may be related to this, and then I'll clarify my answer for you.
As you might guess, us right-wing terrorists are very skeptical, whether it's the government, whatever. When people
Yeah.
say, we're gonna do something for you,
Yeah.
we're looking over our shoulder,
Sure.
somebody's gonna do something to us. And you talk about voluntary programs.
Yes.
Consumers ready to put in writing and sign into blood that it'll always be voluntary and not mandatory?
I'm not going to speculate on the future, Joe.
You know that's the.
I understand your point.
The sentiment in this room, okay?
Yeah.
That
I've got no reason to believe that it will change, and that our customers will need to do something that they don't want to do. As a matter of fact, you know, when we get into the meter program, there are places where it's, you know, I mean, Mr. Sheldon, the previous speaker, talked about the length somebody needs to go to in order to state that they don't want a smart meter for one reason or another, for some of the reasons that you're familiar with or you cited. We put right in our brochure, you're looking for more information, including to do that, you can call this number. It's right here. We're not hiding anything. I've got this smart energy van that I drive around. I didn't bring it tonight because it's crummy weather. But I've got this van. I was at the Lakes Mall at Muskegon. I open these two big back doors. I pull out these two big screen TVs, and I do demonstrations about smart energy, CFL saving you energy, you know, all kinds of stuff. We're out there talking about our programs. We're proud of our programs. I signed up for this job. I've been in this job since December. I believe in the technology. I believe in the program. I believe that it's really good technology that's going to be useful for our customers. We want to make our customers happier. That's one of the reasons why we're pursuing this technology. You know, there are some utilities out there who've been leg wrestling with their customers about these sorts of programs. We're not like that. We're not going to do it. If somebody feels as though this is something that they don't want to be part of, they can call us. Mr. Sheldon said you've got to call your lawyer, duct tape your meter, put a sign in your yard, and buy a Rottweiler. And you know, and that's you know,
Detroit Edison.
yeah, and you know, we're Consumers Energy. I'm Consumers Energy. You know, you got lots of neighbors who work with the company. I'm one of them. We're not going anywhere. We're committed to providing better customer service, and we feel this is the way to do it. This lady had a question first.
I want to know, maybe this, do you have a smart meter at your house?
I live in the city of Grand Haven, not yet.
Oh.
I haven't.
I just want to know.
Yeah, I live in a community where I can have my kids walk to school. Walk to school is important for me. When I lived there, I'm a single dad. I raised two kids from a very young age, and I had to choose my home.
Have one, are you happy with it?
I live
Oh, you
in.
don't have one?
Right. I don't have one yet. But my house is going to be up for sale in the spring.
And you're gonna go get one?
You're welcome to buy it. All right. Let me get to this gal, and I'll get back to you, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Why do we not have electrical choice in Michigan like we're supposed to?
10% of customers do. That's a very, well, for our commercial customers primarily.
That's not right, I don't believe it.
Yeah, that's.
Can I add a comment to that? Representative Tim McMillan and I think our state senator Arlen Meekoff have a proposal to eliminate that. There was a bill under Granholm about basically to deregulate it so that we can buy our power from wherever we want, not just the 10%.
Yeah, well, I'll get into that for a moment since you commented on it, Jim. 10% of our customers, primarily the large industrial and commercial customers, they can choose to purchase their electricity from outside the state if they want to. When they do that, all the fixed costs associated with serving our customers who are less desirable to the marketing companies, who want 24-hour big loads, they want GM, they want Total, they want Marathon, they want the Meyer stores, they want those loads that are there all the time, every day, 365 days a year, lots of it. When when they get that load, when that load goes to Indiana, to an out-of-state company, that means that all the fixed costs associated with all the infrastructure that we put in place by law to serve them, because we have an obligation to serve, that gets then paid for by the rest of the remaining customers. That's why Consumers Energy has been opposed to raising the cap. We think that 10% is the right amount. The cap may get raised, maybe it's 12%, maybe it's 13%. Getting rid of it means that while market prices, if people sign up for it, while market prices that are provided by some out-of-state companies are low, and it looks like it's a good deal for a while, then that's a great deal, and they could get access to that. But in 2015, as you may know, a bunch of power plants are going to be shutting down. We expect prices to go up. We expect a bunch of people to come flocking back if they were to go. Because people do come in, they leave, and they come back all the time on this choice issue. They want the infrastructure there for them. They want the infrastructure there. They want to buy it at the same rate that they were buying it before, while everybody else paid for their infrastructure. There are good reasons why we want to keep the cap where it is. Okay? But let's get back to meters or others.
Your LDC fees, don't they
Go ahead.
stay?
I'm sorry, do what?
You're an LDC, a local distribution company. Your fees stay, even if they go and hunt for their electricity.
They're not paying for all of the infrastructure that our remaining customers are paying for. There are some fees that they continue to pay, but they're not paying their fair share. Yes, ma'am?
Well, I could ask you a half a dozen questions.
I could answer half a dozen questions. I love your accent.
Give them your paper.
You're from Florida, did you say? Or Texas?
No, I'm from Ravenna.
Second
But I have been in on your meetings before.
Yes.
And that's
I
one
met you in
thing I
Muskegon.
wanted to ask you about.
Yes, ma'am.
Because at one of those meetings over a year ago, I asked the question, what about the accumulation of all of this radiation that we're getting?
Yeah.
And the answer was that you were still studying this. And I'm wondering, because we do have people that get ill from this,
Yeah.
I've heard doctors on TV tell what's going to happen down the road in a few years with all this. And I'm not just talking about maybe just your meters. I'm talking about the accumulation that we're getting from all of this and what it's going to do to our children, our grandchildren in the future. And how much study have you done on that? And also I asked the question at one of those meetings, well then from what you're telling me, I said, you can come into my home and say to me, someone can, that my refrigerator is using too much electricity.
Absolutely.
Now the answer that I got from that meeting was pause, and then the person that answered it said, we probably could, but we won't do that.
Yeah, that wasn't my meeting.
And, well,
You didn't hear anybody from Consumers Energy say that. You didn't hear anybody from Consumers Energy say that, did you?
yes,
No, ma'am.
yes.
We could,
Yes.
that's, I don't know who chose their words poorly, but somebody chose their words poorly.
Well, I remember you told me something else at the meeting in Muskegon.
Yeah.
Someone said they had used poor words to me about something else too. But I'm concerned about the health wise of all of this. As far as the,
Well, I'll just say, I've got every reason to believe, based on lots of studies, that this meter is perfectly safe and it's going to
But there's
provide
been a-
electricity safely.
there's been a lot of people that have done studies to prove it isn't safe either.
Well,
And
but
what
ma'am,
about
let me
that?
ask you this. Is there anything that I could say that would help you to understand that this is a safe device? Is there anything that you want me to say?
I want the truth. Would you
I've-
say?
Well,
You don't know.
I-
Studies have been done
I've-
that there are biochemical changes at the cellular level, calcium disruption, all kinds of blood-brain barrier disruption
And this-
at 176.
well, let's not turn this to a debate. Let's keep things civil.
But the thing is I
respect you.
feel like you're lying to these people.
Oh,
I
no.
don't think he's lying.
Let me
I think it's
no, let me say.
misrepresentation.
Well, actually, I haven't gone far enough. I haven't gone far enough in the conversation.
FCC
Let me ask you
bases it
this.
on thermal heating. This has nothing to do with that.
FCC, well, let me say this. Lawrence Livermore Laboratories, National Institutes of Health, World Health Organization.
I can listen on.
I know you can too. I know you can too. And so you could go on the internet and you can find a study.
Credible studies.
And we find credible studies too. Now, let me just say
But
this.
you're in it for
And this is-
money, we're in it for our health.
This is what I'm saying to this nice lady, is that, that's what I'm saying to this nice lady, is that we have found what we feel are credible studies, credible resources, credible institutions that you don't accept. And that was my point. I could say that it's Lawrence Livermore. I could say that the state of California looked into this, the state of Tennessee.
I lived in California.
Lots of other places, you know. Texas had a great study, you know, their Public Service Commission, and we accept the information that I'm sorry that you don't accept. That's all I'll say.
Now, I want to point out that this gentleman is a spokesperson. He's not the person making all the decisions. He's not the person that is going to set policy today or tomorrow, what have you. I would like us to be civil to him. He can only answer what he believes and what he knows right now. Am I correct?
Yeah, and you're very kind. I like to think that I'm informed
I
enough.
want to make sure we do a civil meeting, and I don't want to throw stones at anybody. I figured there'd be some people who would come loaded for bear, and that's part of
And I'll say this, I respect your opinion. I respect your opinion.
Good question.
The gentleman behind the camera. Excuse me.
What if
And then I know
I
you've got to get going. I know you've got to move on with your program.
what if I've got a half-an-acre house and I put a whole bunch of solar panels up there and I'm making a whole lot more juice than I can use?
Yeah.
Does that measure what goes back?
Yes, these meters will help us to facilitate those who choose to sell us electricity back onto the grid. It's easier to use than other types of meters. So if you wanted to put up a solar array, make sure first you go on our website, make sure that you understand what sort of programs we have, whether or not you qualify for the program, so you know how much you're going to be paid for the electricity. Different programs come and go, same with wind and other things. But we've got a lot of information out there.
Programs
We've got a
come and go.
website related to this. Well, let me just say this real quickly. Sometimes we purchase solar power because it's more expensive to produce and people expect us to pay them more for it. There's sort of a lottery system where you have to qualify for that because we don't want to charge our customers a greater premium than we have to for that type of energy. There are benefits to that energy, but we can't overstate what those benefits are. Okay, I'll take one last question, and then I'm going to hand over the microphone. I'm going to walk out of the room, and I'm going to answer questions. I'm going to answer questions so I don't interrupt the rest of the program, and I will talk to other folks who want to speak with me. Is that okay?
Now, here's my question. Would you be willing to work? The most important issue to the vast majority of the people in this room concerns the health and safety of this device. Would you agree with that?
I don't know. I can't. I'm not.
So, would you be willing to work with us to set up a conversation between a medical expert that consumers has confidence in, with another medical expert, and discuss the pros and cons?
I'll talk with you about that.
Okay, because I think that there's more interest in that in this room right now than there is about.
What about opting out? That hasn't been discussed.
Yeah, well,
He did explain that.
He says it's in his brochures.
It is. It's in the brochure, and you know that there's a cost associated with it.
This is the brochure that was mailed to me, telling me I was gonna get my smart meter, but there's nothing on it that says I have an option to opt out. I was informed enough where I could call and ask that question.
How long ago did you get that?
In October.
In October? Yeah.
I double checked it, they don't say nothing in it about opting out.
Here it
Hopefully
is.
uninformed
For
people.
more information,
For more
information.
Right,
Yeah.
and if you
Well, that's
don't,
the
just
problem.
ask about opting
Yeah.
out, you don't know.
Yeah.
The second question is, right now, I'm paying for an electric meter reader to come out there, but if I opt out, they're gonna charge you so much a month.
I'm gonna charge you
to read it again.
$11 a month.
Again,
Not again, just.
I'm already paying for a meter reader. Why are you gonna?
Because we're gonna lose some efficiency with this when we don't need to send out a meter reader. So
Once a
you're
year.
saying you want us to be
Once a
less?
year.
Do you want me to answer the question? Okay. So we're gonna lose some efficiency. We won't need to send out a meter reader. That's gonna save some costs. And you're saying that you don't want efficiency. You're saying that you want somebody to come out and read your meter. That's less efficient, it's more costly. It costs $11 a month to send out 11 and change, is what we've submitted to the Michigan Public Service Commission. It will be up to them whether or not they approve that rate come September. And there will be a flat rate of $69 for one-time fee up front for us having to replace these eventually when you move out of your house or whatever happens, as well as some other lost efficiencies.
Michigan Public Service Commission said in case 17,000 that you were gonna save $2 billion over 20 years. That's $200 million consumers' energy is gonna save alone.
Save our customers. Save our customers. That's customer savings. That's not our savings.
You don't get saving.
No, that's customer savings.
These are consumers' energy.
Yeah,
Will save.
that's a straight pass-through cost to our customers. It's up to you.
One more question, and then we do have to break.
Yes, sir.
In that, in the Muskegon meeting, that woman from Lucent Energy was
Yeah.
talking about the.
Yeah, she took some liberties, eh?
Yeah, she was talking about the, radiation.
Ionizing radiation.
From the meters and,
Yeah.
she was.
Microwaves.
Again,
Yeah, so, go ahead. I mean,
but she would be a good person,
no,
to get.
well, again, I'm not here to refute every claim that somebody makes, because some of them are just outlandish, some of them are ridiculous.
She did work for.
right.
Let me just say real quickly that the communication from these meters is, you know, the band for communication for wavelength is way up here where there are X-rays, and way down here where you're listening to your radio, baby monitor, all that kind of stuff. That's where we are. So I'll just leave it at that. We're not out here ionizing radiation where she was talking. She took some real liberties. Okay, I'm going to respect your schedule. I'm going to head out over here, Jim. And if somebody wants to talk with me about some issues, I'm happy to talk with them
And
about.
Jim, would you talk to Dennis about the timing of, we need to have someone available to come back and discuss the medical.
We will talk about that. We have many things on our
Right.
topic.
On our plate.
I understand that, but
Sometimes I'm thinking maybe we need to have a meeting every week. I don't know if that is the,
just to emphasize that, Jim pointed out that we're going to have the tax day town hall on April 15th, which is a little symbolic.